What's up, guys? Hope you're having a good day. In this video, we're going to be looking at our profit and loss from last week's UFC Fight Night, Johnny Walker versus Thiago Santos card. And straight away, what can we say, man? We literally smashed it. This was our biggest winning night in a while, and we made great profits on pretty much every single type of bet on the website. Every single category of bet performed well. We absolutely smashed it, and it's so nice to put a huge week in the books after, such a slow month where, those events we had in September were really slow for betting. Didn't give us many strong positions for us to put our money, so we kept it really tight. But then we've bounced back with a giant profit on this event, and we've done great. These videos are, obviously I put these videos out every week or most weeks where we review our profit and loss from the previous week's bets. And what's really weird is, it's tough when I have to do one of these videos where we have a bad week, right? Where we have a losing week. It doesn't feel great, talking about losses. But what's strange is it also makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable when we have to talk about an event like this where we did extremely well. I don't know what it is. I just don't want to come across like I'm bragging or anything like that. But the hard work definitely paid off. And after keeping things tight for the whole of September, not replacing many bets, keeping it super tight, we came back with a vengeance on this Johnny Walker Thiago Santos card and did absolutely brilliantly well. From a personal point of view, this was my biggest winning month in years. Made over $30,000 in this just 4-week period alone, going from the first week of September to the first week of October. It's been absolutely huge for me, man. At the beginning of September, I looked at the UFC schedule and saw that there were only 3 events instead of the usual 4 or sometimes even 5. We've actually got 5 UFC events in October in the calendar month. So we've got one 2nd of October, one 30th of October. So we only had 3 events in September. And, account closures, account restrictions are a big issue for me. When you consistently make money on betting websites, eventually they shut you down. So I'm always looking for ways to kind of overcome this problem and, be able to bet larger sums of money and make more profit from gambling. And long before I was profitable betting on the UFC, I was actually profitable betting on football. But then I got really good at betting on UFC, so I moved away from football, put all my focus on betting UFC. The thing is, obviously, max bet limits and liquidity is a lot lower on UFC than it is on football. Of course, I'm talking about soccer, right? The proper football, we call it football in Europe. But liquidity, max bet limit is pretty much infinite, on football. And so this month I was like, you know what? I'm getting annoyed that, still after 12 years, constantly getting shut down by these betting sites when you make a little bit of profit. I was like, I'm going to dedicate September and to kind of go all in on football betting and see where I can achieve, see how much money I could make. And we absolutely crushed, man. The whole month of September just did amazingly well. And what's even more encouraging is, this was our first month, and a lot of the games we were betting were kind of going exactly how we thought they would. So there's method to the madness, as they say, and that's how it works in UFC as well. Most of our winning bets, even our losing bets, vast majority of the time these fights play out exactly how we think they're going to play out based on our fight research. So I'm very optimistic over football betting. That helped me put together my biggest winning 4-week period in a long time, $30,000 in a month. Super happy with that, and I'm going to keep it going. So, if you're a VIP member of my website, if you're a member of my community, throughout the whole of this month, I shared every single one of these bets in the VIP chat room with my community. So if you're a member of my community, guys, just keep an eye on the football schedule, right? And whenever there's like big games on, go into the VIP chat room, and I post all my live bets in there for everyone to tail. I know a lot of you watching this have made a real good chunk of money this month following my football bets, and I'm very confident we can keep it going, man. So the way that you should keep track of the football schedule is just to go to a website like flashscore.com, see what games are on every day. And if there's big games on throughout the week, I don't tend to bet much on weekends because obviously it clashes with UFC. But midweek games, jump in the VIP chat room and chances are I'll be betting them. So, Monday night Premier League games, midweek Bundesliga, Serie A games. If there's Champions League, Europa League on, I'm all about it, man. And yeah, my ultimate goal is make as much money as humanly possible, and just try and keep shooting for that financial security, man, which I don't have yet, and I'm going to keep working hard for it, and hopefully you can come with me on this journey and get there too. So yeah, we'll look at individual performance now, but this was definitely a month where hard work pays off. The UFC events weren't great for betting in September, so we turned our attention to football and absolutely smashed it, but kept focused, kept disciplined on our bread and butter, which was UFC. Football in no way detracted from the effort we were putting into UFC betting, and that showed in our results on Saturday. Even though we bet football throughout the whole of September and crushed it, every single Saturday when the chips were down, back to our bread and butter, still UFC was our main focus, and we absolutely smashed it and performed brilliantly. So let's take a look at how we performed. So we'll kick things off by taking a look at the loose bets. Do obviously just need to remind everyone that the profitability charts that you see here are only updated once a month, just to basically cut the workload down. So Hiltsy updates these profitability charts for me once a month. Hiltsy's been a member of my community for a long time, so basically at the end of October, this profitability chart for loose bets will be updated to include our bets from last weekend. So obviously we had 3 loose bets last week, and every single one of them won. But what's even cooler about these 3 winning bets is that every single one of these fights played out exactly how we said it would in the fight research. If you watch my breakdown videos on the website for these fights, literally called every single one of these matchups to a T. It just shows that the hard work pays off, man, and the fight research never lets us down. At the end of the day, we're not betting on robots, and we can't account for unpredictable shit happening, like Darren Till choosing to fight with a torn ACL. But what we do know is 9 times out of 10, the fight research ensures we're putting our money in the right position to be in. And then when other crazy shit happens that you can't account for in research, it is what it is. That's why they call it gambling. But fight research, man, last week showed you just keep trusting the fight research, and over the long term, it's an absolute inevitability that will make a profit. And that's why, pretty much every profitability chart on the website looks as good as this one. Nice, steady, continuous uptrend. So we did make a good profit last week, went 3-0. Which obviously means when if this profitability chart were to be updated, it would fire right back up to like here. So we're only one event deep into October, and already, we've wiped out the last couple months of losses, and on track to have a really big October. So we went with Jared Gordon to beat Joe Selecki. That fight went pretty much how we thought it would. We knew when Selecki was fresh in round 1, he had the potential to put Gordon in some really bad positions. I do also think Gordon got a little bit unlucky in that fight. The reason why Selecki was able to get to his back and rack up so much control time in round 1 was because Gordon slipped very, very early on in the first round, and Selecki jumped all over him and put him in bad positions. But we knew if Gordon could just weather that early storm, Selecki's grappling would be a lot less effective into the second and third round, which would enable a cardio machine like Gordon to take over, and that's exactly what happened. Gordon lost the first round big, but won the second and third round. So Gordon came through for us at underdog odds in a big way. Then we had Casey O'Neill to beat Antonina Shevchenko. Again, the fight that played out exactly how we said it would. We knew that we knew that Casey O'Neill would struggle to get Antonina Shevchenko down initially, because Shevchenko is very strong in the clinch. She moves very well. Casey O'Neill's quite slow standing, and Shevchenko's pretty good at stuffing that initial takedown entry when you first tie her up, partly because she is so good in the clinch. But we also knew that Casey O'Neill's persistence, an ability to keep persisting with different types of takedowns, would eventually pay off, and eventually Shevchenko would give her a takedown one way or another. Because if you do use chain wrestling, if you are persistent with takedown attempts, Shevchenko always goes down. And that's exactly what happened. O'Neill struggled a little bit early, but once she got the confidence that she could get Shevchenko to the ground that first time, the takedowns following that came a lot easier, and she was very dominant on the ground like we identified she would be in research. And then the third bet we got on Nico Price very, very early at nice odds before they got absolutely steamed towards fight day. But Nico Price, our third bet, he also came through for us in a really big way. I was very complimentary in Nico Price last week, talking about how much how much he's improved in a very short space of time, and how he was making exponential improvements from fight to fight, but there was still a couple of areas that Price needed to work on, and those areas are areas that Oliveira may potentially be able to cause him trouble, and those areas were an issue for Price in this fight, where we were saying in the research session, Price is extremely weak off his back, and at times doesn't make the best decisions, has bad fight IQ. And, ultimately, those two weaknesses almost cost Price this fight, because he spent way too long on his back in round 2, fishing for long shot submissions, when he should have been using the space created off those submission attempts off his back to pop back up to his feet. So, bad fight IQ and Price's weakness off his back kind of crept in there, but thankfully, all the other stuff we said Price did well, like his pressure fighting style, his boxing, his improved gas tank, those things were enough to get the victory for Price, and he got it done, came through for us. We went 3-0 on loose bets, and big shout outs to Jared Gordon, Casey O'Neill and Nico Price for collectively earning us a lot of money this past weekend, and we did absolutely great on loose bets, man. What more could you ask for? We didn't have any tight bets last week, so nothing to talk about there. We did have quite a few even money bets though, and we did perform really well on even money bets. This is a beautiful looking chart, these even money bets, and if you don't know, even money bets are just basically a bet that I post to the website every week, where I force myself to pick a winner in the odds range between 1.65, which is minus 154, and 2.30 plus 130, with my theory being, no matter what mathematical edge the bookies may have, my knowledge of the sport, my fight research, and my ability to gamble effectively will outperform the bookies on bets in an even money odds range, where essentially there are only two outcomes in an MMA fight. Fighter A is going to win or fighter B is going to win. Theoretically, if I'm on the right side of that, of those kind of fights more often than I'm on the wrong side, theoretically, because fights in the even money odds range have roughly a 1-to-1 payout ratio, I should be able to make a lot more money than I lose over the long term. And as you can see from the profitability chart, that's exactly the case. This is a very nice profitability chart. We lost 2 units last month, but we did get it all back with profit this past weekend, which means, again, once this profitability chart gets updated, our profits would be, this will spike back up to like here somewhere, I would imagine, so making this chart look a lot better. So we went with Stephanie Egger to beat Shayna Young. That was a pretty easy winner. Shayna Young was looking real tired by the end of the first round, making that a pretty easy fight for Stephanie Egger in the end. Of course, we've spoken about Jared Gordon. He came through for us in a big way. Our only loser of the even money bets last weekend was Devontae Smith. We picked Devontae Smith over Jamie Malarkey, which is a little bit annoying, because in the fight research session, out of all these fights, this was the one that I had the toughest time picking. So, Egger was an easy pick, Gordon was an easy pick, so was Holland, Jocko and Price. Felt very confident in those guys, but I was really torn on who to go with in the Devontae Smith versus Jamie Malarkey fight. During the research session, initially I was on Smith, then I flipped to Malarkey, then I flipped back to Smith, and this was always going to be one of those fights where no matter who I picked, if they were to lose, I'd be really frustrated with myself. The reason why I ended up going with Smith is because even though he didn't have a lot of experience going past the first round, we did watch a fight of his a few years ago. Where was it? Yeah, we did watch this fight against Nick Gertz a few years ago, where it went into round 4. And so, because he didn't have much experience going past the first round, I was worried that, like we saw from Uros Medic a few weeks back, if Malarkey was able to get through that first round, get into the second round, you'd start to see Devontae Smith slow down a bit. But then we watched this fight against Nick Gertz, and even though Nick Gertz didn't make Devontae Smith work that hard, Smith's gas tank still looked great throughout the fight, right up until he was able to get a finish in round 4. So I did reluctantly go for Smith, thinking he's going to be able to light Jamie Malarkey up in kickboxing range, and we saw that in round one. Like, he almost knocked Malarkey out a couple times in round one, right? And then I was thinking, he hasn't, even though he doesn't have a lot of experience going past round one, and if it does go past round one as a result of that lack of experience, he may start to slow down and really struggle. Given the benefit of the doubt, because he's never really given us any reason to doubt his gas tank, and when we saw him go into the fourth round, he looked all right. And to be fair, probably was, I don't know how you feel about it, but when you see how dominant Smith was in that first round, I don't think Smith was a bad pick here, because if Smith could have kept that up, it would have been a very easy fight for him. But I think a combination of things happened. Very early in round two, he injured his leg, got caught with a stiff jab from Malarkey, and started to look very tired. So it is what it is. We take an L on that, but can't win them all. Kevin Holland was obviously a push because the fight ended in a no contest. And then we had Jocko to win. Pretty easy fight for Jocko, actually. I think, did that end in a split decision? It might have ended in a split decision. I thought that was bad judging. I think Jocko won that fight pretty clear. So Jocko was a nice easy winner, and we've already spoken about price. So on even money bets, we went 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. So another really solid really solid night's work. And yeah, absolutely love these even money bets. I'm betting them pretty big at the moment. I'm dead serious on these even money bets. It's a beautiful profitability chart. The thing that I really like about these even money bets is that there's not really going to ever be that much variance with them, because most weeks we'll either like make a unit or lose a unit. Like, you very rarely get like big winning or big losing nights on these even money bets, which means you can bet them quite aggressively, and not have to get too crazy with the bankroll management, because you're working within a very very tight profitability range. And also, like, if you think about it logically, these are going to be a pretty steady cash cow for us long term, because, like I've said, no one works harder than we do. No one puts as much fight research, as much time into fight research as we do. Not many people have been doing this as long as me. So when we get these fights in the even money odds range, 9 times out of 10 we're on the right side. And you think of it like a coin flip, right? If you're flipping a coin and you can predict with a big percentage of the time whether that coin's going to land on heads or tails, how can you not make money, right? That's kind of how I would look at these even money bets. We know a lot of the time when we're betting these even money bets, they're very close competitive fights, otherwise these fights wouldn't be in the even money odds range. But ultimately, most of the time, there's something we can see in the fight research which helps us lean 60-40 one way or the other. And it's that slight edge which is going to virtually guarantee over the long term that these bets continue to be profitable. So I'm really happy with their performance. If we look at, I'm not sure exactly how much profit these made last weekend. It would be like, what was that, 1.5, like 2.25, probably like 3-ish units profit, something like that, just under 3 units profit maybe. So over the last 18 months, these have produced probably like 26 units of profit, something like that. You bet $1,000 on every single one of these even money bets. In the last 18 months, you've made like $26,000 for doing nothing. Like, if you bet $2,000 on every one of these even money bets, that's a pretty good return. You know what I'm saying? Pretty good return. So, $3,000, you could do the math. And obviously compound interest will help you scale that up and get to those numbers. So I'm really happy with these, and I'm sure we can keep it going. What else we need to talk about? Haven't got any type bets. I don't think we had any over-unders either. We didn't have any over-unders, but this is another beautiful looking profitability chart. We don't have any over-unders. As for even money over-unders, I think I've explained to you guys in the past that basically there is a bug with this profitability chart at the moment where it's not displaying the dates in the correct order. You see it's like back to front. September should be here. It's all fucked up. I've just got to rebuild it. I haven't had time to rebuild it. We'll get it fixed. But anyway, in terms of even money over under bets, I haven't actually checked these. Looks like we went 2-2. So we went 2-2. So the even money over unders are using the same principle as just a straight up even money bet. It's an experiment we only started recently. We started it like two months ago, and it's slightly down after 2 months, but virtually a break even. Considering it's so early days on this. But we went 2-2. So we went for under 2.5 rounds in Perez Eduardo. That was an easy winner. Andrade versus Perello doesn't go the distance. That was an easy winner. He had fight goes to a decision in Shevchenko versus O'Neal. That was the loser. And fight goes to a decision in Hernandez versus Breeden. That one got destroyed because Hernandez came out the gate at 1,000 miles an hour and killed the poor man. As for main event picks, this is literally the worst performing category of bet we've got on the site. But we did have a very nice winner last week. We went for Thiago Santos. He came through for us. Like I say, these main event picks perform horribly. They don't perform well at all, which is hilarious because they're like main event fights are the thing that people probably judge me on more than anything else. But you gotta understand, the most eyeballs are on main event fights, right? Which means the odds on main event fights are going to be the most efficient. It's hardest to find value on main event fights because everyone, is a lot more familiar with the fighters. There's a lot more attention on the fights. Bookies are going to be a lot sharper at setting odds on those fights. So I think this is why I don't perform well on main event picks. And if you didn't know, it's very similar to the even money experiment where I'm researching every main event anyway. So I put my I basically put a pick in for every main event fight who I would go with, gun to my head. Every single main event. It hasn't performed well though, but being the eternal optimist, I will keep doing this because, well, I'm researching the fights anyway, so I may as well. Maybe one day we can turn it around, who knows. But at the moment it's not performing well. We also need to look at prop bets. So the even money over under chart is broken, and so is the prop bet chart. So this is all fucked up at the moment. I need to fix it. But we did all right on props. So we had 3 props last week. We went 2-1 on props. Nico Price to win by decision. Casey O'Neal to win by submission. We lost that, but it was a little bit unlucky actually. O'Neal was fishing for the submission, but Shevchenko just wasn't giving it up, so she decided to get the stoppage with ground and pound instead. And then we also had Jared Gorton to win by decision, who came through for us nicely. So decent night on props. And the final thing we got to talk about is live betting, and we absolutely fucking smashed it on live betting. Did amazingly well. Again, this profitability chart hasn't been updated yet, but our live in-play bets completely smashed it, and we made 5.8 units. Again, I don't ever share what live bets we had, just because live betting is a big cash cow for me. It's where I earn the majority of my money, and I basically don't want bookies to know what I bet, man, straight up. So I don't share my live bets and what they actually are. But we had a great night. We went 3-0 on official bets. We also had 2 unofficial bets, which surprisingly a lot of people did get into or got in on time before the odds got suspended. I didn't get $1 in on our unofficial bets this week, but a few of you have DM'd me and said you did. So it was a monster night for a lot of you because the unofficial bets went 2-0, which means if you got in on official and unofficial bets, you went 5-0 on live betting. But obviously we only counted the profitability from the 3 bets that we had, which all won anyway. So it was a monster night in live betting, another huge night, and this is the most beautiful profitability chart you will ever see. And yeah, we keep the money train choo-chooing, so a big winning night to kick off October, and with 4 more events to come this month, I have a sneaky feeling October is going to be a fucking monster of a month for live betting. I would imagine we're going to do disgusting things to the bookies this month in live betting, because I mean we're already at 5.8 units. I would be amazed. I mean, look at this. We've only made a loss in, when was the last time we made a loss prior to that? So we've only had 1 losing event in our last 12 in live betting. So very unlikely we'll have a losing event for the rest of October, which means I would expect us to continue to absolutely fucking murder the bookies and do terrible things to them. So yeah, that is it, guys. That is it. Thank you very much for being part of the community. Thanks a lot for your support. And like I say, man, gonna keep working hard and we'll keep this going. Like I you know, we got a lot of like funny memes and stuff in the community where we talk about buying castles and helicopters with like sentry towers and attack dogs and shit. But I'm dead serious, man. Like, this is fucking serious as a heart attack for me. I just don't, like, I work really hard now. I work every fucking minute under the sun, and I don't want to be doing that forever. So I'm putting the time in, man, where we can earn those big numbers to hopefully one day not have to put in, you know, as much work as we are now. So football betting's a brand new thing. That's not going anywhere. So from now on, if ever there's any big football matches, jump into the VIP chat room. I'll be sharing all my bets in there with you. And, you know, we've had a few shitty events in the UFC, boys. September was pretty shit for betting, you know. As an example, if we look at the loose bets to, like, quantify how shit September was for betting, in the whole month of September, we only had 5 bets in the whole month of September. And we went through 2 and 3 on them, right? So in the whole month of September, we only had 5 loose bets. Just on the first event in October, we had 3. And if you look back at our results, obviously, you can see, you know, we had, if we just go back to like here, you know, we had 4 events on UFC 265 alone. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we, you know, the fact that in, you know, frequently we have like 3 or 4 bets per event, you know, 3 bets on this event, Cannonier Gastelum. The fact that we have like 3 or 4 bets per event on average, and for the whole of September we only had 5, shows you how shitty September was from a betting point of view. But the important thing is, you know, when we do have shitty weeks, we don't behave like donkey dickheads. You know, we don't place reckless bets. We don't feel forced to place bets or pressured to place bets. We keep it tight. We don't put our money in danger, because we know if we just keep it tight, let those strong positions come to us, it's only a matter of time before you get those nights where there's going to be tons of strong betting opportunities on them, and that's where you make the real money. And that's what we did last week. Kept it tight throughout the whole of September, and then completely fucking annihilated, you know, last weekend, and made big profits on everything. So that's what we're going to do, man. Like, this weekend now is not very good. You know, this weekend's card looks tough again. This Dern Rodriguez card looks brutal, because we've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 heavy favourites out of 11 fights on this card. So 9 heavy favourites out of 11 fights. Always a tough environment for betting, but we'll keep it tight. If there's strong positions on this card, we'll bet aggressively on them. If there's not, we'll pass and we'll wait until the next event. Hopefully something stronger comes up on that event. But we won't behave like donkey dickheads and recklessly gamble our money away with, you know, impulsive bets, which are not smart. So thank you very much for watching, man. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for being part of the community. It means a lot. And trust me, boys, I'll work my bollocks off every single day to just help us achieve our goals, mate, or just, you know, make life that little bit easier with this cash we're earning from gambling. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Take care. I'll see you in a live stream really soon. Nice one, guys.